Hello, everybody. It's that time of day again. It's story time. I've got my frumpy reading sweater on. And let's see what we got to drink today. Nice glass of cool water. Well, we're going to read some more of Aesop's fables today. Sit back, relax. Let's see what we got today. We'll start with the town mouse and the country mouse. Now you must know that a town mouse once upon a time went to visit his cousin in the country. He was rough and ready, this cousin, but he loved his town friend and made him heartily welcome. Beans and bacon, cheese and bread were all they had to offer, but he offered them freely. The town mouse rather turned up his long nose at this country fare and said, "I cannot understand, cousin, how you can put up with such poor food as this. But, of course, you cannot expect anything better in the country. Come you with me, and I will show you how to live. When you have been in town a week, you'll wonder how you ever stood a country life." No sooner said than done. The two mice set off for the town, and arrived at the town mouse's residence late at night. "You will want some refreshment after our long journey," said the polite town mouse, and he took his friend into a grand dining room. There they found the remains of a fine feast, and soon the two mice were eating up jellies and cakes and all that was nice. Suddenly they heard a growling and barking. "What is that?" said the country mouse. "It's only the dogs of the house," answered the other. "Only?" said the country mouse. "I do not like that music at my dinner." Just at that moment, the door flew open. In came two huge mastiffs, and the two mice had to scamper down and run off. "Goodbye, cousin," said the country mouse. "What, going so soon?" said the other. "Yes," he replied. "Better beans and bacon in peace than cake and ale in fear." Okay, let's see what the next one is. The Fox and the Crow. A fox once saw a crow fly off with a piece of cheese in its beak and settled on a branch of a tree. "That's for me, as I am a fox," said Mr. Reynard, and he walked up to the foot of the tree. "Good day, Mistress Crow," he cried. "How well are you looking today? How glossy your feathers! How bright your eye! I feel sure your voice must surpass that of other birds, just as your figure does. Let me hear but one song from you, that I may greet you as the Queen of Birds." The crow lifted up her head and began to caw her best. But the moment she opened her mouth, the piece of cheese fell to the ground, only to be snapped up by Master Fox. "That will do," he said. "That was all I wanted. In exchange for your cheese, I will give you a piece of advice for the future. Do not trust flatterers." Oh my. The next one is called The Sick Lion. A lion came to the end of his days and lay sick unto death at the mouth of his cave, gasping for breath. The animals, his subject, came round him, drew nearer as he grew more and more helpless. When they saw him on point of death, they thought to themselves, "Now is the time to pay off old grudges." So the boar came up and drove at him with his tusks. Then a bull gored him with his horns. Still the lion lay helpless before them. So the ass, feeling quite safe from danger, came up and, turning his tail to the lion, kicked up his heels into his face. "This is a double death," growled the lion. "Only cowards insult dying majesty." Okay, well, let's move on. Here are two good ones. The Ass and the Lapdog. A farmer one day came to the stables to see his beasts of burden. Among them was his favorite ass. That was always well fed and often carried his master. When the farmer came, his lapdog, who danced about and kicked his hand and frisked about as happy as could be. The farmer felt in his pocket, gave the lapdog some dainty food, sat down while he gave the orders to his servants. The lapdog jumped into the master's lap and lay there blinking. while the farmer stroked his ears. The ass, seeing this, broke loose from his halter and commenced prancing about in imitation of the lapdog. The farmer could not hold his sides in with laughter, so the ass went up to him and, putting his feet upon the farmer's shoulder, attempted to climb into his lap. The farmer's servant rushed up with sticks and pitchforks, and soon taught the ass that clumsy jesting is no joke. An ass wants to be a lapdog. Very strange, isn't it? The Lion and the Mouse. Once upon a time, when a lion was asleep, a little mouse began running up and down upon him. This soon wakened the lion, who placed his huge paw upon him and opened his big jaws to swallow him. "Pardon, O king," cried the little mouse. "Forgive me this time. I shall never forget it. Who knows but what I may be able to do in turn some day for you?" The lion was so tickled at the idea of the mouse being able to help him that he lifted up his paw and let him go. Some time after, the lion was caught in a trap. The hunters who desired to carry him alive to the king tied him to a tree, while they went in search of a wagon to carry him on. Just then the little mouse happened to pass by. Seeing the sad plight of the lion, he went up to him, soon gnawed away the ropes that bound the king of the beasts. "Was I not right?" said the little mouse. "Little friends may prove to be great friends." Okay, here are the last two. The Swallow and the Other Birds. It happened that a countryman was sowing some hemp seeds in a field where a swallow and some other birds were hopping about picking up their food. "Beware of that man," quoth the swallow. "Why, what is he doing?" said the others. "That is hemp seed he is sowing. Be careful to pick up every one of the seeds, or else you will repent it." The birds paid him no heed to the swallow's words, and by the hemp grew and was made into cord. And the cord nets were made, and many birds that had despised the swallow's advice were caught in the nets made out of the very hemp. "What did I tell you?" said the swallow. "Destroy the seed of evil, or it will grow up to your ruin." The Frogs Desiring a King. The frogs were living as happy as could be in a marshy swamp that just suited them. They went splashing about, caring for nobody, and nobody troubling with them. But some of them thought that this was not right, that they should have a king and a proper constitution. So they determined to set up a petition to Jove to give them what they wanted. "Mighty Jove," they cried, "send unto us a king that will rule over us and keep us in order." Jove laughed at their croaking and threw down into the swamp a huge log, which came down splash in the swamp. The frogs were frightened out of their lives by the commotion made in their midst, and all rushed to the bank to look at the horrible monster. But after a time, seeing that it did not move, one or two of the boldest of them ventured out towards the log, and he even dared to touch it. Still it did not move. Then the greatest hero of the frogs jumped upon the log and commenced dancing up and down upon it. Thereupon all the frogs came and did the same. And for some time the frogs went about their business every day without taking the slightest notice of their new king log lying in their midst. But this did not suit them, so they sent another petition to Jove and said to him, "We want a real king, one that will really rule over us." Now this made Jove angry, so he sent among them a big stork that soon set to work gobbling them all up. The frogs repented, but it was too late. Better no rule than cruel rule. Well, that's the end of the stories today. They were sort of interesting, weren't they? All of Aesop's fables have a moral to them. Sometimes it's hard to understand, isn't it? Well, you have yourself a good day. You take care of each other. Take care of yourself. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay? Bye now.